Yo, you may or may not be aware that there's a new scooter game coming out, and in fact it is made by Mash Games. And that may give you a reason to pause, like, isn't Mash working on BMX Streets? Well, in fact he's actually working on this, and also potentially a skateboarding game at the same time. So if we leave this on in the background while I talk. Interestingly enough, somebody pointed out that the font used here is actually the same as the GTA 6 trailer, so I think he's trying to ride the wave of that sort of thing. But yeah, this is a separate game to BMX Streets. I know in Mashbox, scooters are actually part of it, along with a few other different things. It seems like all the different things that you can ride are going to be separated out and released as separate games. We don't know what the price is going to be. The price for this is currently unknown at the minute. But as you can maybe see, it's actually properly animated tricks. From what I can tell, everything is exactly the same as BMX Streets. Like, it's the same menu, same access to maps, like it's all in the same folder. Operates the same, except it's just what you're riding is different. As you can see here, yeah, new tricks. Also has the new Rotex map. This is one of them. There's apparently 3 maps. This is also Skirt's high school map. We've probably got a few different things in there, but it's more or less exactly the same as BMX Streets. And this is kind of leading to the sort of controversial aspect of all of this, is that Mash is, while BMX Streets is still incomplete, working on a bunch of different titles to essentially make more money, which is maybe needed to keep his business afloat, but at the same time, having one incomplete game and also working on other games. This is coming out on early access. Don't know about the skateboarding game, that's maybe like next year or something like that. But essentially we're going to have several different projects ongoing at the same time. From what he says, when he works on the engine on one game, it applies across everything because it's all the same engine, it's just a different tool that you're using in the game. So maybe there's not that big of an influence, but when you think about releasing on console and everything else that comes along with this, it's a little bit kind of weird feeling, to be honest. And yeah, there was actually a version of this game released, well, not really released, it kind of appeared briefly on Discord. A few people got access to it. I also downloaded it, not really thinking much of it, and then realized it was sort of an early version of this. It doesn't have any of the maps or any of the proper stuff. It's just all the basic BMX Streets 2.0 kind of, I don't know, early versions of everything in the mod maps. I don't think all the animations are in it either. But I kind of gave it a go, and it does feel okay. Like, it feels like it's its own fairly solid thing. I don't know how much it'll all be expanded upon, like in terms of parts and everything. Are they going to be putting in lots of different parts? We're going to get different bars, wheels, all that kind of stuff that a lot of people want. As we can see here, this is the Mash character. So I don't know if we'll be getting new people. Probably not pro skaters or anything like that because it involves money. And yeah, it's just kind of a interesting set of events that have come about recently. You can actually wishlist this on Steam. It says that it's coming out in the next 6 to 12 months officially. Next month it's going to be the early access release. Let's say $15, could be more, depends how much Mash wants to make out of it, I guess. Full version, more maps, bug fixes, so it sounds like it's going to be fairly bare bones. Maybe all of these are going to be fairly bare bones compared to BMX Streets, which should have proper missions. No mentions of missions for this one, by the way. And yeah, just looking through the screenshots, this is the new Rotex version of that test map. I can't remember the name of what it is in BMX Streets 1.0, but it looks way better than it used to at the very least. So we'll also have Rotex's other map. I think it will be more or less the same as that map that's in BMX Streets as is. I don't think that's getting updated. More of this. If you looked on Instagram, you'll notice he posted a few things with like the greenery moving around physics-wise and things like that. So there is that a fair bit of effort going into it. And this is maybe the other new map. It looks like a Rotex map because there's the Big Apple Times and a few of those sort of things around. So it may be a bowl-specific map. It doesn't look that big. So yeah, I think a few people are already aware that it's coming out. There may be a whole group of people that didn't know anything about it. Will be surprised to hear what's going on. And I get the feeling it's going to be a bit of a controversial decision. Oh, the bike stood up a bit there. Like for somebody like me, I can do a video on it and make my money back from doing a video on it. Well, hopefully anyway. Scooter games aren't the most popular of things I've found compared to other things, especially if it was like a mountain bike game or motocross game, which who knows, MASH may end up releasing at some point. With that logic, he could essentially release a version of everything. We've got skateboarding, which I would have thought is one of the harder ones to do, and we've never seen any evidence of a skateboarding game up until this point, really. So it's definitely a choice. I don't know how it's going to compare to anything else out there, especially now that Skate is getting close to a release. So yeah, that's one thing I'm kind of curious about, like what are people's reactions to this being? Given the kind of mess that happened with BMX Streets and the fact that it's kind of been redone completely, I think in terms of good faith with the audience, it would be nice to have a clean cut of, okay, this thing's done, let's move on to the next thing. Having different things in different stages of semi-completion, especially given that MASH is sort of prone to hopping from project to project or idea to idea. That's not a controversial statement, like even says it himself, he struggles with that sort of thing. Maybe an ADHD thing, I don't know. But it's slightly concerning that he'll have a bunch of projects on the go at the same time. How are we going to get all these neatly settled? Unless he gets somebody else involved to like help clean up for him, which he probably needs, to be fair. And anyway, this kind of brings me on to the next topic, and it's actually relating to the future of BMX Streets. Is a kind of unfortunate bit of news that needs to be conveyed, or at least it very much seems like this won't be a feature, and it is 2.0 is likely to not have multiplayer in it, so people that will be getting the game on console as well won't be able to play multiplayer. I'm pretty sure that's going to have people stressing. So yeah, there was kind of a bit of speculation that multiplayer may not appear, and I went and asked Mash in his Discord server, and his reply was essentially a shrug. And, well, he doesn't really know how to implement it in 2.0, and he also mentioned it costs too much, so his solution was buy ScootX to, I guess, fund multiplayer. But apparently multiplayer cost him a lot originally, like he used to have 8 players at once, then he cut it down to 4 because of server cost or something related to that. Maybe somebody who actually knows a bit more about that end can explain why. But it's even more complicated now, and at least from what he's saying, he needs more money to do it. The only problem is, I'm not entirely sure if us spending more money on games for him is going to help him in the long run, because if it's still expensive, he's going to run out of money in the end anyway. So maybe it's just going to be the case that there won't be any multiplayer whatsoever. But in that case, funding ScootX will essentially be just funding MASH and not really new functionality so much. I don't know, it'll keep his business going and everything, so hopefully we'll get more updates across everything. But yeah, the original plan for ScootX was maybe to fund multiplayer and other things. Now it's maybe just more of a separate project. So anyway, that's kind of the logic. Maybe, at least, if we buy all these different versions of the game, it will help fund other things to keep going, apparently. No guarantees. And again, this is just from one conversation I had with him. He hasn't appeared to change his mind and say that multiplayer will be a thing at any point. That is the general stance for now, so yeah, if you're looking forward to multiplayer, you may be disappointed. Yeah, I'm trying to not be too overly dramatic or like come to my own conclusions too much in this video. I kind of want to just state what's going on in a flat way and let people come to their own decisions on it. For me, really all I want is BMX Streets to be complete. As complete as it can be in a good state, and then let the modders deal with the rest, because, you know, we had Pipe for years. That was really bare bones. And that lasted years on years. Community was strong. Plenty of maps, plenty of things came out after the fact. If we can get a nicer version of that with the most complete BMX game we can get, then I can't really... I don't know, anything else is kind of a bonus. But at the same time, there's maybe people that actually would like a scooter game, but they're going to have to fork out money for it. Well, I don't know. I suppose you're going to have to fork out money for anything. Nothing generally comes for free in this world, especially these days. There's maybe a given that something like this would eventually happen. Even if a scooter, skateboard, whatever game came out way in the future, you'd be paying for it. Also be slightly curious about what TekuFlat and Scoot thinks about this. Like suddenly another game has emerged out of nowhere. Yeah, well I guess that's just the nature of this sort of thing. Competition happens. I've definitely seen some people not have very positive views on the outlook for all of this stuff and the way Mash is doing things. In the end, it is his business. It's just a case of whether you choose to support his way of doing things or not. There are other options out there. BMX-wise, I've only got BMX Bastards. And that's fairly early on, so if you want to support BMX-related games, then this is kind of your only option right now. So yeah, I was actually trying to find the ScootX image or video that I saw before. I'm pretty sure I didn't hallucinate it, it was real. If anybody remembers where it was, let me know, so then people can go check it out. I don't know, I would imagine a skateboarding game is the most complicated thing of all, if you're actually doing the physics correct, unless it's preset animations, which would be a bit like auto catch session, I guess? I don't know. Question over, will these things actually be any good? Or will they just be very bare bones, kind of cash grab sort of things? I'd hope they're okay. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, I guess. So anyway, that's been a bit of a catch up. If you've not been in the loop, I'm sure you're gonna have some sort of opinion on this. And just to be clear, I don't want to be like a drama channel or some sort of like gossip news related thing. Just want to go back to playing some of these games, having fun in the end. But I feel like that was worth mentioning because it's going to come up at some point, especially next month when it comes out. I'll try and cover it. Yeah, something to be aware of. So let me know what you think. Is this something that changes your opinion of what's going on? Do you support it? Would you rather this get completed first? I'm sure everybody's going to have a lot to say. I have no idea how to end this. See if we can get on there. Nope. Well, while we're flying through the void, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.